The following program contains scenes and language of a frank and explicit nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, and welcome to Filmjitsu, the podcast that wields films like deadly weapons. We are your hosts. I am Jay.
And I am Mike.
On this episode, we close out spooky season with our third horror-themed show in a row, with Mike's review of the notorious 1987 German exercise in poor taste, Nekromantik. After we learn how this movie nearly killed him, Mike and I will discuss our bottom 5 romantic horrors. And if that weren't enough, we'll engage in a game of Dueling Double Bill before Mike reveals what he has in store for me come our next episode. But before any of that, let's roll the trailer for a film so filthy it makes viewers want to shower with bleach after watching it, Nekromantik.
Aber weißt du, wie spät es überhaupt ist? Los, hoch mit dir!
Gott, das ist ja nicht zu glauben. Soll ich jetzt für dich arbeiten gehen? Soll ich die Leichen besorgen? Was meinst du, wie lange die hält?
Mike, I went out on a dangerous limb. And honestly, I hope we're still friends, despite the fact it might have nearly killed you. Maybe.
Ooh, this film is so absolutely revolting, sickening, and disturbing that I feel the need to issue a genuine and sincere warning to our listeners. Beyond this point, it's about to get real fucked up. So everybody has been warned. Okay. We have not talked about a film like this before.
Minus Weekend at Bernie's too. Minus that.
Fair. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. The other thing that must be addressed is that we call this podcast Filmjitsu, the podcast that wields films like deadly weapons.
It's true.
And you, sir, in making me watch Nekromantik, almost actually killed me.
That's right.
This film rotted out my guts, put me in the hospital, and I underwent a surgical procedure where they basically scooped me out like a jack-o'-lantern. I'm convinced the only reason I didn't die is because I was terrified of what German perverts might do to my corpse. And of course, thank you to you and your boys for pinch hitting an episode on Final Destination, the whole franchise, while I was recovering from the movie that you made me watch. It was fantastic, and being gutted like a fish was almost worth it just to hear dear sweet Diego Santo Munoz use the phrase hooker parts repeatedly on our show. I'm glad we captured that for all time. Let's hope his teachers never find out. And lastly, on that episode, you guys did bottom 5 deaths.
Yeah.
And if you think for a second that I'm not participating in that topic, you are insane. Because that's one that I have had circled on my board for a long time. You got to it first. I'm just going to go ahead and give you my list here real quick, mostly because I'm trying to put off talking about Nekromantik for as long as possible.
Okay.
Whereas you and the boys went with brutal and gruesome ways to die on film, I took a more psychological and emotionally affecting approach.
Good God.
My number 5 is Ellie passing away in Pixar's Up.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what, Pixar? I've been watching this fucking cartoon for less than 10 minutes, and I'm already full on snot sobbing all over myself. Like, what in the hell is wrong with you? I thought the movie was about a chubby Boy Scout and his grumpy old pal, not about the giant gaping wound left after the love of his entire life dies and leave him behind. That's my number 5.
Yeah.
Number 4, Joe Dante's zany little holiday romp about a mischievous bunch of gremlins taking over a tiny all-American town. Remember that? Silly, fun, delightful.
Yeah, the story.
Oh, and Phoebe Cates tells us this little ditty about the time her father, dressed up as Santa, climbed down the chimney, broke his neck, dies, gets stuck, and isn't found until days later when he starts to stink.
That's the reason that Diego hasn't watched it yet. He still believes in Santa, and I don't want him to watch that movie and have it blown. So that's why he watches things like Final Destination and The Long Walk, but he doesn't see Gremlins.
Yeah, because what in the winter fucking wonderland are we doing here, Gremlins? Like that is some deeply disturbed stuff to plop into the middle of a PG puppet movie.
Yeah, it's pretty
Did you know that you can see her dad in Beetlejuice?
Oh, is he in there somewhere?
There in the waiting room in Beetlejuice, there is a Santa Claus all covered in soot and smushed a little bit. It's her dad from Gremlins.
Oh, God.
Number 3, I'm going with Thomas's absolutely shocking death from out of fucking nowhere in the 1991 family film, My Girl.
Oh, Jesus Christ. The bees. Yeah.
Yeah. We spend an entire movie with 8-year-old Anna Chomsky and Macaulay Culkin having the most adorable, idyllic summer that anybody has ever had. And then 1 hour and 13 minutes into a 1 hour and 40-minute film, Macaulay Culkin gets swarmed by bees, dies, and we spend the remaining 25 minutes in the deepest pit of childhood despair and grief that film has to offer. My number 2, this one is actually one of the most brutal deaths on my list, probably closer to how you and the boys put your list together, but I am going with the murder of Joe Pesci and his brother in the cornfield in Casino.
Yeah.
Beaten with baseball bats, buried alive, and Scorsese's camera never cuts away. You are forced to watch this absolute brutality, this gangland murder, just like Pesci's character is forced to watch his brother die. It's one of the hardest things to watch in all of cinema. And this is the kind of scene that like follows you home and ruins your day. And my number 1 is a death that traumatized an entire generation. I'm surprised it wasn't on your list. From The Neverending Story, it's Artax, the horse, slowly sinking into quicksand and drowning, while a desperate boy bawls his eyes out, screams his name, and begs for him to keep fighting.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, listen. Okay. So it's Halloween. First of all, so we're going to talk about horror movies and deaths that were gruesome, not
That's what I mean.
About childhood traumas, which your list covers, which we already did.
I loved the approach that you guys had, but I thought there were 3 of you. You did such a bang up job that I wanted to bring my own perspective to the table here.
Always the contrarian.
I've been wanting to do bottom 5 deaths for so long that I had to do it. I just had to do it.
It was a good list. I mean, your list is masterful. It's actually real cinematic, what sticks with you kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Also, Neverending Story, a German production, just like Nekromantik. So, I don't know what's going
Germans.
on here.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in Germany, apparently.
It seems, and which now unavoidably leads us back into our discussion of Nekromantik. So, I want to hear a little bit more about why you chose this film out of everything we could have picked, knowing full well what the movie is. You went big, which I got to say I respect. So tell me more about what led us to Nekromantik.
The main reason why you got it was because I was sick of getting my ass kicked on this show. I was sick of it. Like over and over again, I would give you like softballs over and over again. I'd give you musicals, this thing, that thing. And you'd come back like, oh, gee, I loved it. And I was like, well, fuck you, Mike. Like, so after a while, I just got really pissed off. And I'm like, fine, you want to play like this? Here we go.
You took
really,
the nuclear
it came
option.
down. No, it wasn't the nuclear option. It was just that you love horror movies.
Sure.
And as a really avowed horror film lover, I wanted to show you a really shitty movie. Yeah. Because it is ultimately like that's the thing and why it is so good for our show. It's a really, really bad film. But not only that, it's about the most taboo subject that you could possibly have for a horror film.
Right.
So it was something we had never covered. And I was just really fucking sick of you always giving me cinematic horse shit. Your turn.
Yeah, I mean, mission accomplished.
I have to say, as usual, I subjected myself to the torture.
Oh, boy. Had you seen it before?
No, I hadn't. I was afraid to ever watch this movie.
Yeah.
I think I explained I would see this at the video store. It had a really interesting cover with a bodacious-looking blonde woman who looked as though she was in a rapturous embrace, only she was being embraced by a skeleton with a hand on her boob.
This has a really interesting history.
Yeah.
So, first off, it's a German film. the Germans kind of invented horror movies, right? Like Nosferatu, 1922. They know what they're talking about. But then horror movies were banned when the Nazis took control of the film studios, right? After the Nazis went out of power, the horror movies took an even bigger hit in Germany when they passed what were called the Basic Laws, which prohibited the glorification of violence in media. This was specifically an issue in Berlin, and the only way that horror got in was if it was smuggled in.
That's right. Yep.
The punk scene had really taken off, and punk musicians were smuggling VHS horror films into Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
Enter Jörg Buttgereit, the director of this film, who was one of these punks. They played this movie in music venues with kind of a rock concert vibe. Meanwhile, in the US, you could only get your hands on bootleg VHS.
Mm-hmm.
So it took a long time before it made it stateside. German police seized the film and threatened Buttgereit with jail time after Nekromantik 2. This movie is wildly aggressive. Like, I'm talking 55 seconds in, and there's a disclaimer in the movie already that's like, hey, this is going to be a lot. And it was not wrong.
I think the fact that it started with the first shot being the longest and loudest piss I've ever seen or heard in cinema.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
The entire film was designed to shock people. And the fact that it is in 2025 still just stomach churningly shocking to me says a lot about what it must have been like for contemporary audiences to have viewed this thing.
Yeah.
There is graphic animal abuse in this film.
Yeah.
There is a scene where a rabbit is killed and skinned.
Yeah.
The eyeballs popped out and everything. Apparently it was documentary footage of food being prepared. And it's supposed to draw comparisons to what the main character does to humans. The closest we get, I think, to a plot here is we have a guy who is sort of your regular blue collar worker. He works for some sort of like
the JSA.
Cleanup. Yeah. Like some kind of
corpse
disposal
cleanup.
That's right. Yeah.
His name's Robert Schmadtke.
And he really likes his work. That's what I know.
A little too much. He brings it home with him. He
really likes his work. And he brings these corpses home. Like, just toss some bodies in a contractor bag, right? No gloves. Just throwing body parts in a contractor bag.
No one in the JSA wears gloves. They treat organs and body waste with bare hands. Yeah. And hefty cinch sacks.
They have these hazmat suits almost like to protect their clothes, but they're just like elbows deep in human guts.
Bare hand in it. I was going to say that they raw dog the corpses, but then they...
then
they actually do. So
right. Yeah. I guess we could also point out that the director here does say that this, like many horror films, is based on the life of notorious necrophile from Wisconsin, Ed Gein.
Such a stock thing to say about your horror film.
Yeah, but this guy apparently meant it because Jörg Buttgereit traveled from Germany and stood at the graveside of Ed Gein, his unmarked grave in Wisconsin, for a moment of silence. So this guy was pretty into his necrophiles, I guess.
I don't think that's even a true story, to be perfectly honest. I call bullshit all the way.
Well, what we have here with this ding dong is he has a girlfriend,
Betty,
who is also a necrophiliac, which, man, just how are there still single people in the world if this dude can find somebody who is also into necrophilia?
Well, she turns out to be a bit of an asshole too, so.
She sure does. You might expect if she's way into necrophilia. She gives us what I think is, for me, the most disgusting scene in this movie, where they take a putrefied corpse, they attach a fake penis to it.
It looked like a pipe.
I think,
It wasn't even like a dildo or anything. It looked like metal.
I think you're right. I think it was a pipe that they put on it and they threw a condom over the top.
That was funny.
Yeah. And then the three of them proceed to have this lengthy sex scene.
With the stock piano music playing over
God. It was just shock for the sake of shock all the way, which, I mean, admittedly, that's what this filmmaker was going for, which is why, for me, it's more like a little bit of an art house piece than it is a movie.
I guess. To me, there's actually too much narrative for it to be a art house piece because it tracks this guy.
It does.
And follows him all through the film. I think that the thing that points to your argument about just how trashy it is the fact that at one point during that threesome with the corpse, the girl is kissing the skeleton or whatever, and its eye falls out.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of it just falling out, they slow the film down so that you can really see it fall out.
Yep, like drip out of the head.
Dumb.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so as far as the narrative goes, this guy loses his job and his girlfriend gets angry and takes off on him. And I got to tell you, I have seen some messy breakups in my time, Jay. I guess I haven't seen one where we have to decide like who gets the apartment and the cat and who gets the corpse we've been sleeping with. But she gets the corpse.
She writes this nasty note. First, she says all this to him.
Yes.
Then the next day he comes home and there's a note on the bed.
Right.
And it's the same exact thing that she just said in the last scene.
Yeah, she really wanted to recap that dressing down that she gave him. She was like, you should also have this in writing. And so one of the more twisted Dear John letters anybody's ever gotten in a movie ever. And then we just have this dummy like sad sacking it through the rest of this movie alone and not knowing what to do. He goes to a slasher in the theater where everybody is bored. I don't know if this is supposed to be some sort of commentary on the state of horror or our desensitization to violence. I don't know. This movie doesn't know.
Considering how long we stayed in that theater, I feel like that was a third of the movie was just in the theater watching this other film. Also poorly made, but I think they had a ball making, it looked like. So
the audio, the screaming that was going on, that was the audio from Lucio Fulci's Zombie. It was just,
that's hilarious. Just thrown in.
Mm-hmm. Then we get, maybe for me, the second most disturbing scene of this film where he smashes his cat in a bag, pulls out its entrails, and like then gets in the bathtub with it and is like soaking in cat entrails all over himself.
He puts the cat on like a rack above the tub, and then the cat's dripping blood and such into the tub. He's trying to reach this level of sensual ecstasy that he can't reach, right?
Yeah.
So that's the whole idea, is he's addicted to sex with the dead or whatever, and he's got to find that ultimate high.
Right,
so
he can't get off
on this journey with him for this, But just as a point of order with the cat murder thing, for a minute I got real worried. If they hurt the cat, I'm out. This is over. I'm pulling the plug.
I thought the same thing.
It was the most obvious.
Yeah, it's like a bag with a handful of dirty laundry in it.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Swinging it at the wall.
And the fake cat didn't even look anything like the other cat, which was really funny. And the original cat was like a tabby cat, and this one was like a black cat.
Yeah.
It looked totally different.
We do get, shortly after that, what I think is maybe the coolest death scene in the movie. It was actually pretty good when he goes back to the cemetery and he's confronted by the old guy in charge of the cemetery. And
because he had sex with a prostitute and killed her, and then wakes up next to the prostitute in the cemetery.
Yeah, oops.
When there's an old man, a caretaker there.
Yeah, and he swings the shovel at this guy and slices off half of his head.
Yeah, it was pretty good looking.
And this was a pretty great practical effect.
It was a good effect.
It was. I thought that was pretty cool.
I did too. I thought it was like, oh wow, we got some actual horror movie here.
Mm-hmm.
There was a hilarious sequence earlier that you didn't touch upon, where there was a guy in a tree with a gardening hook trying to get apples. And another guy was with a gun.
Just playing with his gun.
He's just playing with his gun.
This is where we get the corpse.
Oh, was he from?
Yes.
Oh, that was him. That was him. He was the one that fell on his gardening tool.
The one guy goofing off with his gun in the backyard shoots the guy picking for apples. That guy falls down dead. The other guy puts him in a wheelbarrow and like scoots him out of there so he doesn't get caught. Yeah. It was important to this movie that we understood where this disgusting putrefied corpse came from. We needed like the origin story of Bob the corpse. So
Bob from the bog.
And that whole sequence, aside from the putrid corpse part of it, was so kind of cartoonish. It kind of reminded me of Frankenhooker. It was just that goofy.
It was so silly. Yeah. It really had like a little bit of a Sam Raimi, Three Stooges kind of vibe to it almost. Yeah.
In a way that I actually, that's a movie I could have appreciated. I would like to see that movie.
The funny corpse fucking movie?
Yeah. Maybe with some like implied corpse fucking instead of here, let's just put the camera on this corpse fucking, because that's what we get. And then, of course, it brings us to the scene that really makes this movie infamous. As you pointed out, our hero, we have discovered he cannot get off unless death is involved. and looking for the ultimate way to cure his sadness and have the highest of highs. He lays in bed and then he guts himself with a butcher knife while his giant fake erect penis is just ejaculating over and over again. And then it turns to blood while he's gutting himself in this bed. For some reason, at this point, we see the reverse footage from the rabbit earlier. So now we see this thing get unbutchered. I don't know why.
Rebirth.
But this guy was not rebirthing anything. He was unbirthing himself. That's for sure. That is for sure.
Man, there was so much about this movie that was so wild. I love that it ended the way it did. I enjoyed this movie way more than I expected. It's garbage trash cinema, but
big time.
I felt as though the filmmaker's personality was coming through and it was just a big fucking goof. And there were funny asides that I felt were there. Like there was Charles Manson hanging on the wall of their bedroom, which was quite the decor.
Right.
But then on the other side, there was a Christ on the cross.
Yes.
Like that's a dead guy. And I was like, oh man, are we?
Yeah. And
is this something?
There's even a scene where, if you remember, he takes the crucifix and kind of repairs it. He like re-nails the Jesus back on the cross.
That's
so it
right.
is definitely messing around with that imagery for sure.
Oh, you think corpse fucking is weird, or fucking with a corpse in the room is weird, but here you go. It's right on the wall of all of your homes.
I am worshiping a corpse, and so are you.
Yeah.
I would love to give this movie credit for something like that. I really would.
But I think it was there. I just think that most of this was punk bro cinema.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was just silly
sure.
and dumb. And some of the effects were fun. It was the effects were done by the director. So there was something about it that was weirdly endearing to me, even though I couldn't wait to be done with it. I've never experienced anything quite like it, where I was both rooting for the movie to be better than it was, but also really, really, really hoping that it would end soon.
For sure. For sure. And it ends in grand fashion. And again, kind of a callback to what this movie could have been, because we get our hero, his grave, which is just this big mound of dirt. And there's a shovel in the last shot we get is the shovel being, driven into the grave by a high-heeled shoe. Presumably Betty has come back.
Yeah.
To dig up her now dead boyfriend to have sex with him now that he's dead.
I couldn't believe how they missed the opportunity for that ending to land harder by having his girlfriend say something earlier about how the only way he'd be able to have sex with her again is if he was dead.
Yeah, right.
And what was funny is I don't think they could get the actress back. So
right, of course, yeah, just
a random high heel.
Yeah. And so I came away from this movie curious, because you had set it up talking about how you had always had sort of this fascination with it in the video store days. So did I.
Yeah.
I couldn't help but wonder, like, what would teenage Jason Santo or teenage Mike Merrigan have thought about this film as opposed to how we're talking about it now?
For me, I don't think I would have understood any subtext that would have been there. And it would have just been straight up about corpse fucking, but it was so poorly made that I'm not sure I would have been able to withstand it. Because if you think about all the horrible, horrible cinema that I've seen, I think I've built an immunity to it, but I can also see through intentions.
Right.
Young me would have just probably not been able to have watched it, and probably would have stopped at the rabbit sequence.
Yeah.
I probably would have quit the movie, honestly.
I don't know if I would have. In my teenage years, I was figuring out what I didn't like. And so I recall watching things like Last House on the Left and I Spit on Your Grave, and not having enjoyed the experience and coming away from it being like, you know what? This is absolutely not my brand of whiskey. This is not for me. I feel like maybe I wouldn't have needed Nekromantik to really figure it out. But like you, I feel like part of the way through, I would have been like, okay, I get it. And I'm out of here. Yeah.
I can't really watch suffering. I'm not good at it. That stuff has moments where it does not seem as though it is even acting.
Yeah. Yeah. And these kind of films, I think, spark a conversation that happens in horror about gatekeeping, because there is absolutely a segment of horror fans that will treat you as if you're sort of less than if you kind of quote unquote can't handle something extreme like that.
Sure.
Maybe young Mike might have been more open to that kind of commentary, whereas 44-year-old Mike knows that that is some stupid horseshit.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
I think that Nekromantik is a good way for me to remember that I have matured as a horror fan and that not everything has a place in my brain. I guess I'm proud of you, Jay, for like just going all the way. You didn't hold back. You didn't care. Is this too much? Is this too far? You just absolutely clocked me in the face with a movie and it almost killed me. And I will never top this. We're going to watch movies that we don't like. We're going to watch bad movies. We're going to watch movies that waste our time, but we are never going to see something like this again on this show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Mike, if Nekromantik teaches us anything, it's that love and rot aren't as far apart as we'd like to think. There's something inherently horrific about devotion pushed to its limits. For me, this list isn't about couples caught in scary situations. It's about stories where love is the situation, where the emotional bond itself becomes the engine of terror. So here then are our bottom 5 romantic horrors, where love, lust, and devotion curdle into obsession, decay, and damnation.
Yeah.
With all that said, what was your approach and what is your number 5?
I might be a little long-winded on this one because my approach was putting this list together while lying in a hospital bed, fresh off anesthesia and full of opioids. For my number 5, I'm starting my list slowly. And we're going to kind of ease into things here because this is the kind of list that is bound to escalate quickly. So my number 5, I'm going with Dr. Chalice and Ellie Grimbridge from Halloween 3, The Season of the Witch.
Oh my.
It is established fact that Tom Atkins fucks. I'm not here to dispute that. I don't begrudge the man, but in this movie, things went a little too far. In Season of the Witch, Dr. Chalice may be cinema's most shamelessly shitty father. He can't wait to get away from his kids, if he even remembers that they exist. And that's before he meets Ellie. Ellie is much younger than Dr. Chalice, like daddy issues younger.
Yeah, for sure.
Ellie has daddy issues because her father was very recently killed by an evil druid toy maker. And so obviously Dr. Chalice spends the entire movie trying to get into her pants. And Ellie's pretty down to clown. Like, how seriously can you be investigating your father's mysterious death if you're also banging Tom Atkins in a shitty motel? This romance is just kind of wrong and makes me feel gross.
Yeah, it's kind of nasty.
Because I'm supposed to be rooting for these characters and they're just being kind of awful the whole time. That's why it's my number 5, but it made the list.
That's a weird ass romance for sure. And I think a quality number 5 to get us started. My number 5 is from Lisa Frankenstein from 2024. So a very fresh entry. Sorry, that's a terrible pun there. But directed by Zelda Williams and written by the Diablo Cody, Lisa Frankenstein reanimates the gothic romance for Gen Z. Catherine Newton plays Lisa, a misfit teen who literally rebuilds her dream man from the limbs of corpses, and in doing so, crafts the perfect metaphor for obsessive first love. Newton has called the film, quote, a grief story in disguise, and you can feel that ache beneath the quirk. Opposite her, Cole Sprouse plays the silent, stitched-together paramour with just enough melancholy to make their coupling both sweet and decidedly wrong. The film's lush pastels and vaporwave palette make the horror feel sugar-coated, but its romance is hollowed out by possession. Cody's script, like her Jennifer's Body script, treats love as consumption. Lisa Frankenstein may wear a neon grin, but its heart is decidedly embalmed. So at number 5, Lisa Frankenstein.
Well, my number 4 is a bit of a thinker. I'm going with Pearl in Ty West's 2022 film of the same name. This is an enormous performance by actress Mia Goth in the middle of West's X trilogy.
Yeah.
And here, the horrific romance is Pearl's deep and twisted love with her own self-image. She's about as lonely and repressed a farm girl who is dreaming of stardom while trapped down on the farm, caring for her ailing father and under the thumb of her domineering, controlling mother.
Mm-hmm.
Her husband's away at war. It's a love story without a lover.
Yeah.
Pearl's romance it's this idealized image of the megastar she sees herself as. And her relationship with love is just all kinds of warped because of the isolation and fantasies she's experiencing while she's trapped on this farm. She believes in her DNA that her destiny is to be the biggest star on the planet. And her romantic feelings are inseparable from this hunger she has for attention, which of course she's never going to get.
Yeah.
And so when things don't go her way, Pearl descends deeper and deeper into madness, eventually snaps in a variety of twisted and gruesome ways. And for Pearl, love is performance. And if she can't be loved, she'll be remembered, even if it is through insane acts of horror and violence. And so Pearl is my number 4.
Yeah, that's going to be better than anything I picked on my list. That is the best possible choice here. I love the idea of her love for herself, especially this imagined version of herself.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely a perfect pick. I'm jealous. I hate my list now. God damn it. All right,
I don't know that you and I have talked much about this film. I
love Pearl. I loved Pearl. And I actually, I loved X as well, but I liked Pearl much, much more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same.
My number 4 is Pet Sematary from 1989. Mary Lambert's adaptation of Stephen King's novel.
Wow. Okay.
His novel remains one of the most devastating depictions of love's refusal to die, quite literally. This screenplay was actually written by King himself, and Mary Lambert, fresh from directing Madonna's Like a Prayer video, brought this gothic feminine sensibility to this story of really masculine denial.
Yep.
Dale Midkiff and Denise Crosby play Lewis and Rachel Creed, a couple whose grief turns the natural order inside out after the death of their son. The film's final horrifying kiss. This is where I stand. The husband's attempt to resurrect intimacy through rot is the essence of romantic horror. Tenderness curdled by delusion.
Oh, you gave me goosebumps, sir.
Well, that's what we're trying to do here, right? I mean, come on, man.
Well, you were just bad-mouthing your list 2 seconds ago, and here you are. I'm like, oh, boy. I just felt like somebody walked over my grave, which, again, you almost recently killed me, so not cool, Santo.
Boy, I'm going to be hearing a lot about this. Let's move on.
My number 3 is the kind of this fairly groundbreaking 1960s film from Michael Powell. I'm talking about Peeping Tom. This one, again, is complicated. The plot is about Mark, who works at the film studio and moonlights as a softcore photographer, but he's also a killer, and he films his murders with this hidden camera, and he has to capture the exact moment his victims experience terror and their fear becomes pornography. And his intimacy is his love. It's all kind of wrapped up in it.
It is.
The backstory is that Mark was conditioned to be this way by his own deeply twisted father. And then he meets Helen, who might be his one chance for true love, his one way out of this. But her affection for him makes him try to have a normal relationship. But of course, the trauma is just too deep, and he just doesn't know how. And in his mind, love must be accompanied by killing. I'd hate to spoil the ending for anybody who hasn't seen it, but let's just say that even his attempt to spare Helen, Mark is forced to take a life. I was really interested because director Michael Powell is one half of the powerhouse filmmaking duo of Powell and Pressburger.
Yeah.
Made some of the best films of the 1940s, things like Black Narcissus and The Red Shoes. But Peeping Tom all but destroyed the man's career. It was just too intense for audiences of his day. And, he's dealing with these themes of voyeurism and the male gaze and this pathology of love as control. And it was an examination of horrific romance that was so kind of far ahead of its time that audiences didn't know what to do with it. And so they rejected it as filth.
Yeah.
And I see this movie in a lot of ways as a precursor to Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, if that tells you anything. And what's interesting is that Hitchcock would come along the same year with Psycho, a film that's hailed as a masterpiece, but I think deals with a lot of the same ideas as Peeping Tom, but in maybe a much less authentic way.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Peeping Tom is better than Psycho, but I think as it applies to this bottom 5, it fits. Ultimately, it ends up one of the most tragic and horrific love stories in movies.
Wow. That's a great choice. Really great. Powell, man, that's unfortunate about his career.
Yeah.
Man. My number 3 is Videodrome from 1983.
Good pick.
James Woods stars as Max Wren, a sleazy cable programmer who becomes obsessed with a sadomasochistic broadcast signal and the woman drawn to it, radio host Nikki Brand, played by my beloved Debbie Harry. In her first major film role, wearing this auburn hair that was just unbelievable. Anyway, Cronenberg cast her after seeing her in Blondie in that persona where she was both sensual and sort of self-destructive. Harry later said that she was fascinated by Nikki's, quote, pleasure in danger, a theme that echoes through Cronenberg's entire filmography.
Yeah.
Shot by Mark Irwin, who also did The Fly and Scanners, the movie turns television into a flesh-eating organism and love into a transmission that you can't turn off. The legendary practical effects by Rick Baker give physical shape to emotional surrender. Videotape cassettes entering abdomens, lips pressed against screens. Its mantra, long live the new flesh, reads like a dark vow between lovers who merge then dissolve inside the signal.
Yeah, what an absolutely fabulous pick. It would have been ludicrous had Cronenberg not showed up at some point.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
That's not your number 1.
That is not my number 1. Yeah,
wow,
I know.
okay.
I know.
All right.
That's a pretty sick one too. I mean,
it is pretty sick.
That was a really weird one.
My number 2 is a serious contender for my number 1 spot from a film that is absolutely still on the table for a full review. And I am going with Sam Neill and Isabel Adjani's marriage from 1981's The Possession. A German and French co-production shot in the bleakest version of West Berlin. It's about a marriage that dissolves into one of cinema's most unhinged portrayals of emotional collapse.
Yeah.
Complete with doppelgangers, religious symbolism, and sex with a literal tentacle monster.
Yeah.
Adjani also has a freakout scene in a subway tunnel that puts anything Nick Cage has ever done to absolute shame, and it's not even close.
No.
This couple has a romance that curdles into madness and monsters.
True.
Directed by Polish filmmaker Andrzej Zalewski. It's a movie that it pushed its lead actors to their absolute psychological breaking point. Adjani said it took her years to recover from the experience, which I know is things that actors say stuff like that sometimes, that they had a hard time coming back out of the role. In this case, I 1000% believe that.
Yeah, I do too.
The marriage of Mark and Anna was an absolute must on this list for me.
It's a great choice. I'm ashamed a little bit that I didn't pick it. I don't know how it didn't occur to me. My number 2. I have 2 entries at my number 2. I really thought that you would pick one of them, but you haven't picked it yet. It may be your number 1, so I'm going to leave that behind. My number 2 is Cemetery Man from 1994.
Okay.
Also known by its Italian title, Della Morte dell'Amore, of Death, of Love. Michelle Sovi's haunting black comedy is one of the strangest and most beautiful horror films of the 1990s. Rupert Everett stars as Francesco della Morte, a cemetery caretaker whose undead tenants refuse to stay buried and whose obsession with a mysterious woman, played by Anna Falchi, oh God, turns the film into a requiem for love itself. Each time she reappears, she's someone new, yet he loves her all the same, unable to see that his desire is a loop without end. Sovi, a protege of Dario Argento, directs with painterly precision, drawing on Fellini's surrealism and Romero's nihilism. The film's cinematographer, Mauro Marchetti, bathes its small Italian town in candlelit golds and graveyard blues, while Manuel de Sica's melancholy score makes the whole thing feel like a dream already decomposing. Everett himself has called it, quote, a love story with corpses. And that's exactly what it is. Romantic horror distilled to its essence. Here, love doesn't conquer death. It just keeps digging it up. Number 2, Cemetery Man. Hell yeah. A good pick. Maybe not as good as this other pick that I had, but still a good pick.
Well, I can't wait to hear your other pick because I don't think it's going to be what I was thinking of. But my number 1, I'm going to kind of revisit something we were just talking about because, of course, Cronenberg has to be on your list.
Oh.
You went with Videodrome. For me, there is no place to go more appropriate for this list than 1988's Dead Ringers.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, my God.
Twin gynecologists share everything, even their lovers, until their connection devours them both.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me, it wasn't a matter of if Cronenberg would be on the list, but what film. I mean, Crash, you could have put Crash on this film.
Oh, you totally could have put Crash on this list. Yeah, for sure. Oh, my God.
I'm not sure where to start with this thing, right? But Jeremy Irons plays identical twins, Elliot and Beverly, that pass women between each other unaware of the swap.
Yeah.
A love triangle forms. There's insane drug abuse, severe genital mutilation, and disembowelment.
Yeah.
There's honestly no way to describe this movie in such a manner that it actually accurately reflects how gonzo it is.
Yeah.
If you've seen it, you know. If you haven't seen it, you're probably better off. But you absolutely should watch this movie. But holy shit, buckle up.
I saw that in the movie theater, and I, about 3/4 of the way in, thought there might be something wrong with me. Like I was like, oh, I probably shouldn't be here. And I probably shouldn't find this as interesting as I do. So, yeah, that was.
Yeah, sometimes there are movies that while you're watching them, they make you feel dirty. They make you kind of question yourself.
For sure.
That's what I want out of a movie. That's something that a film like Nekromantik never accomplished.
Yeah, it did.
The way that a Cronenberg film does. And that's the thing about a David Cronenberg movie is that they are really hard to watch, but you cannot look away. And I think you're better for the experience too. It really feels like you have earned something when you make it
That's
through
true. That's
a
interesting.
David Cronenberg movie.
Yeah, that's actually really true. Oh, that's a good way to look at it. I like that. It makes you come out feeling a lot better than just, hey, I'm a weird pervert. So
yeah. Yep. Yep.
My number 1, and this doesn't change. I didn't flip my number 1 or anything. It has to be. I honestly don't think there's any other answer. And I'm surprised that something by this author didn't make your list. Namely, my number 2, which I was 100% sure you were going to put there. My other number 2. My number 1 is Hellraiser from 1987.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's really only one answer for this list, and it's that. Yep. It's Hellraiser.
Yep.
Written and directed by Clive Barker in his directorial debut, no less. From his novella, The Hellbound Heart, Hellraiser remains the definitive romantic horror, a literal marriage of pain and pleasure. Claire Higgins plays Julia Cotton, the bored wife who rediscovers her illicit lover Frank after he escapes hell, skinless and starving. Her decision to lure men to their deaths so that he can be reborn is a perverse act of devotion, adultery elevated to ritual. Barker's direction, though it is really low budget, feels painterly. Unsurprising given his background as a visual artist. Doug Bradley's Pinhead became a horror icon, but Hellraiser's real heart is Julia, the tragic romantic who mistakes suffering for passion. Love here, it's not redemptive. It's the box you open and can never close.
Not everybody loves Hellraiser. I like
think
it.
It's brilliant.
Absolutely, for the reasons that you outlined. It's a great pick. What was
Brilliant.
your bonus one?
Candyman Of course.
It was on my list.
How could we not have had Candyman on here?
Yeah.
It's almost like we should just both agree that Candyman for romantic horrors.
Yeah.
That's the one, right?
That's the one. It is the one. I think maybe I dropped it off the list because I feel like I found so many occasions to talk about Candyman on the show.
Yeah, I think
that
we've
I wanted
mentioned
to
it
go
quite
a
a few
different
times.
route, but
Yep.
I absolutely. This could just be the Candyman memorial list. If
Let's
you wanted.
just say it. Let's just say it right there. Romantic horrors was the Candyman memorial list. Mike, after all this talk of death and love, I think we're going to have a lot of fodder here for our Dueling Double Bills segment. What best makes a double bill when we're given some random film? What can we possibly come up with? It's been a competition. I have listened to all of our Dueling Double Bills thus far.
Okay.
And the competition is neck and neck. Which means that we only have a couple more left before we do our year in review episode, the Jitsus.
Right.
And at that point, we are going to reveal not who won necessarily, that may be already known, but what dueling double bill, what chosen double bill that person will have to watch out of all the double bills that we've put out.
It's going to be a good time.
Or a really, really, really awful time. It depends on what's chosen.
I guess.
Before we get to any of that, it's time for us to play Dueling Double Bill Love and Horror Edition. Let's see what randomly generated title we get this time. Man, we talked a lot about this filmmaker just now. And we have another film that we haven't mentioned that 100% could have been on our bottom fives. 1986's The Fly from David Cronenberg. What do we pair with The Fly? As literal as always, I'm going to try I got to try to come up with something different. All right. And for our second choice, we've got, man, what a cool one. Wow. Secretary from 2002. That's a hell of a film with Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Yeah. Okay.
Man, so we've got really one that veers hard into gruesome horror and love, and then one that veers more into not horror, but more sexual perversion, would you say?
Mm-hmm.
So Secretary and The Fly.
Okay, here we go.
All right, let me think about this here. The Fly.
I'm good.
I think I'm good. This is the most ridiculous pairing ever. I don't think I'm winning anything today, but
okay. All right.
But one of them's solid. The other one I'm not so sure about. Let's talk about The Fly, 1986, David Cronenberg, Jeff Goldblum, Gina Davis.
A movie you love, a movie that you absolutely love.
I saw it recently with Justin, and he wasn't wild on it. It's an awfully quick watch, I will say.
Sure.
I think that the thing that I always liked about the film was Goldblum's performance, and Davis is wonderful in it too. But story-wise and just kind of what happens, it's fine. But I think I gave it like 3.5 out of 5, something like that. So it's
okay.
Fine.
All
but
right.
what about you? What did you want to pair with it? I can't say mine yet.
I decided for this, I wanted to go ahead and just program a straight ahead, really solid, like line drive sci-fi double bill.
Yeah, for sure.
And so for me, I am going with The Fly, and I'm pairing it with Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1978 with Donald Sutherland.
I just watched that with Diego. We just watched it. He hated it. He didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
I love it. It's
for me, just
favorites.
a killer 1-2 punch.
God damn, and you've got Jeff Goldblum in both of them too.
There we go.
Bastard. That is a quality choice. Great pairing. Donald Sutherland. That ending scene with Donald Sutherland might be one of the most iconic final shots of any movie ever.
I think of the marquee, right? Like our little local independent theater. And I just, Saturday night, The Fly, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. There's no way I'm not there.
All right. You might go to this one too, but I have a feeling that you would have to be a lot more drunk. I want to pair The Fly with 1983's Geek Maggot Bingo.
I'm sorry, what?
Geek Maggot Bingo. Yeah. It just came to me because I was like, fly, maggot, absolutely.
This like word association thing that you have going on in a game that you came up with is a real problem for you.
Well, no, but I think that this is a really good pairing if you think about it, because you're seeing the two ends of the horror spectrum, right? You're seeing the kind of like thing that we just watched with Nekromantik, this sort of DIY, no budget film experience. This is full cult underground filmmaking. Yeah. And I think that paired with some sort of studio slick grotesquerie like The Fly, I like it, especially because when you go to a double bill, the reason that they're called B movies is because the second movie that played was always like not quite as good, you know, on the bill, right? So there you go. You get your.
So if we're talking about Cronenberg and then Geek Maggot Bingo,
yeah,
or
man.
I believe also further referred to as Freak from Suck Weasel Mountain, I think is the entire title of that movie. That's not a B movie so much as a GHIJK movie in comparison to Cronenberg. I get what you're saying. I'm not sure I'm buying it.
Oh my God, you're kidding me. Really? I love it.
All right.
It's a fun mashup of two very different ends of the horror spectrum. And I think that the aspects of The Fly that people are attracted to, the gross pieces, like when the fly pukes on the guy's, what is it? The guy's leg? It pukes on his leg and severs his foot. Is that right? Am I remembering that right?
Yeah.
And then he, that whole grossness that Cronenberg brings, that is par for the course in Geek Maggot Bingo. So I think that people that go for that sort of thing, they're going to be like, wow, that's awesome. All right. And then they're going to see this other one and be like, fuck me. So yeah, I love it. I'm sorry, but let's move on. We'll move on. I think I lost. All right, fine. Okay. Secretary, 2002, Maggie Gyllenhaal, James Spader, all about power dynamics in the office and sexual perversion and such. What did you do with this?
Oh, very simple for me, sir.
Oh,
I programmed Spader-thon. We are watching Secretary, and with that, we are watching Steven Soderbergh's Sex, Lies, and Videotape.
Those are two really good movies. Those might be the only movies that I ever like Spader in. I actually can't stand Spader's face.
Yeah.
He drives me crazy.
Sure. Yeah, he's not for everybody, and that's because he's usually playing characters like this. These are two films that are all about sexual power dynamics.
Yeah.
Of course, Sex, Lies, and Videotape being a film that just launched the career of Steven Soderbergh, who for me is one of our most interesting filmmakers working today. And I think Secretary is a pretty worthy follow-up to what that movie is interested in talking about, as it talks about the power dynamics between men and women, and how we choose to sort of reclaim our power through what we express in Sex, Lies, and Videotape. Andie MacDowell, who starts talking about her sexual desires on tape. It's sort of this freedom that she doesn't have in her actual life with a husband that is cheating on her with, I think, her sister or something. I don't remember exactly. And then, of course, Secretary, where this woman is interested in self-harm, and she finds that the only way to process that is to have this kind of twisted power dynamic again with James Spader. So I think for me, I think they are an absolutely perfect pairing.
I think they're a pairing, but I don't know that I could watch that much James Spader in that role over the course of two movies. It feels almost too much of the same. Again, my bias is against James Spader, so it could just be that. But my choice, weirdly enough, is Fire Walk with Me, David Lynch, the Twin Peaks movie. For some reason, when I thought of Secretary and I thought about the production design and everything, I thought of the red curtains and stuff like that, right? Like I was thinking of David Lynch and Fire Walk with Me, but also just the amount of obsession, compulsion, submission, all this stuff that happens in both movies. I think that Laura and Lee, played by Maggie Gyllenhaal, kind of have this synergy as leading characters. And maybe that's too much suffering over two movies. I'm not sure. I would watch probably Fire Walk with Me paired with anything. I think it's brilliant. It's so strange and so bizarre, but it's got this real heart and soul to it. And it, of course, solves the mystery of who killed Laura Palmer.
Right.
I think that having that paired with Secretary, with Fire Walk with Me being second, really brings this tough subject matter viewed through very different lenses.
Yeah.
But both of them are very sexual and very sensual at the same time. So I think that's the important, that's really the binding glue between the two films in that double bill.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I know we're getting close to the end and somebody's got to start pulling ahead on this thing.
Yeah.
But this for me feels like another 50-50 split. You didn't sell me on Geek Maggot Bingo.
I can't believe it. I thought the body grotesquerie pairing I thought was so good.
I think it is so obscure that I just don't. I think people go, oh, The Fly and what? Yeah, I don't know. I'll watch that.
Fly and Maggot. No, you don't think? No.
I don't know that people buy the ticket and go, figure out the parking and what time are we going to meet and where are we going to have dinner for that.
For Geek Maggot Bingo,
but I
you're
absolutely
probably right.
But I absolutely think that Secretary and Fire Walk with Me is a great pairing. I think people would turn out for that. I think that the lynchness of the whole thing really kind of props up the I don't know, slightness maybe of Secretary, although I don't know that's how I feel about that movie. Secretary is not a movie that kind of draws an audience necessarily, but I think you throw Lynch in there and all of a sudden it blends. And so I think maybe we got you get a point, I get a 50-50.
That's where I think so.
That's where I'm at.
I think I should have just, with this wordplay, I got to stop. I originally was going to choose The Fly and The Fly. And I was just going to have the two of them for compare and contrast reasons, but I really believed in that, The Fly and the Maggot. So.
I know. You just couldn't help yourself.
Oh, well. What can I do?
It's a real Achilles heel for you.
We're still at a dead heat, so let's just keep going.
Good. I like it. Just means the stakes are getting higher as we go.
We're in the playoffs.
Well, sir, it goes without saying that I'm not going to be able to counterpunch Nekromantik, the movie that almost killed me, and that ruined Thanksgiving. But happy Thanksgiving, everybody. As I hope that we are able to set aside all of this corpse fucking conversation for you to bust out a turkey and get together with your family and be thankful for the bountiful gifts that life gives you. Our next episode is the beginning of December. That means it's Christmas season at my house.
It's time already?
Yes, it is time already. I have spent a lot of time thinking and agonizing over what holiday film I wanted to give you. I reached out to your sister at one point for some advice as well. Didn't end up going that way, but I really tried to do my homework here. It gave me some good ideas for maybe next year. But we talked about this before, and I don't remember when or why, but I had to reel it back in and present it for our next episode when I would love for you to ruin something beautiful.
What?
By watching National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation 2 Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
wow.
It's that one where it's just Cousin Eddie.
Oh, I forgot about this.
Oh, boy. I think the movie was made for $11. I'm pretty sure it was made for TV. It was not pretty.
Goddamn. What the hell could you possibly pair for a bottom five with this mess?
Actually, fairly easy. We're going to do our bottom five spin-offs.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
As this is a spin-off from something that we love into something that is terrible. Cinema offers us a lot of this kind of stuff when somebody isn't quite done trying to squeeze the last penny out of intellectual property. You get a spin-off. Yeah. And so here we are. Merry Christmas to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. That's truly coal in my stocking. No question. Well done. Good God. Well, I don't know who's going to want to hear me talk about Christmas Vacation 2, but if you want to hear it, I'm going to review it on our next episode, which is apparently holiday themed yet again. But until then, we've been your hosts. I am Jay.
And I am Mike.
And we'll see you next time. The fucking Thumbs movies still are way fucking worse than Nekromantik. So if we're keeping a scorecard, friend, you're still winning.